I've spent decades observing the marvels of the animal kingdom, but few creatures capture my imagination quite like the howler monkeys of Costa Rica. You see, these remarkable beings are not just animals. They're the very voice of the rainforest itself. Their powerful calls, which can be heard for miles, speak to the wild beauty of this incredible country. As we embark on this journey together, I invite you to open your hearts and minds to these fascinating creatures. You know, when people ask me about howler monkeys, the first thing that comes to mind is their incredible vocalizations. These animals possess the loudest call of any land mammal, capable of reaching up to 140 decibels. To put that into perspective, it's louder than a jet engine. But why, you might wonder, do they make such a racket? It's all about communication and territory. These calls serve multiple purposes: to warn off rival groups, to call to potential mates, and to coordinate the troops' movements. It's a complex language that we're only beginning to understand. The sound is produced by an enlarged hyoid bone in their throat. Now, let's explore the daily life of these fascinating creatures. Howler monkeys are primarily arboreal, meaning they spend most of their time in the treetops. They wake with the sun, their powerful calls often serving as nature's alarm clock for the entire forest. The early morning hours are spent feeding, usually on leaves, fruits, and flowers. As the day progresses, you'll find them resting and socializing. It's quite a sight to see them lounging in the canopy, grooming each other, or simply basking in the dappled sunlight. They're not the most active of monkeys, conserving energy due to their leaf-heavy diet. But don't be fooled. When they need to move, they're incredibly agile. In all my years of studying primates, I found that understanding their social structure is key to appreciating their complexity. Howler monkeys live in troops, typically consisting of 1 or 2 adult males, several females, and their offspring. The size of these groups can vary, but they usually range from 10 to 20 individuals. Within these troops, there's a clear hierarchy. The alpha male, often recognizable by his larger size and more frequent vocalizations, leads the group. Females also have their own hierarchy, which can influence access to food and grooming partners. It's fascinating to observe how these social dynamics play out in their daily interactions. You see, much like humans, their societies are complex and ever-changing. Now let's talk about what's on the menu for these arboreal diners. Howler monkeys are primarily folivores, which means leaves make up a significant portion of their diet. But don't think for a moment that they're not discerning in their tastes. They have a particular fondness for young, tender leaves, which are easier to digest and often more nutritious. However, leaves aren't their only food source. When available, they'll happily feast on fruits, flowers, and even the occasional insect. This varied diet helps them obtain all the nutrients they need. It's worth noting that their leaf-heavy diet influences much of their behavior. Leaves are not particularly energy-rich, which is why howlers spend so much time resting. They're conserving the energy from their meals. You know, when we talk about howler monkeys, we must remember that they're not just fascinating creatures in their own right. They play a crucial role in the health of the entire forest ecosystem. As they move through the canopy feeding on fruits, they act as important seed dispersers. The seeds pass through their digestive system and are deposited far from the parent tree, complete with a natural fertilizer. Moreover, their feeding habits help shape the forest itself. By preferentially feeding on certain plant species, they influence the composition of the forest over time. They're also prey for large raptors and cats, forming an important link in the food chain. Well, these noisy neighbors are silent guardians, helping to maintain the delicate balance of their forest home. Life isn't always easy for our howler friends. Like many species, they face numerous challenges in today's rapidly changing world. Habitat loss due to deforestation is perhaps the most significant threat. As the rainforest is cleared for agriculture and development, howler monkeys lose their homes and food sources. This fragmentation of their habitat can lead to isolated populations, reducing genetic diversity and making them more vulnerable to diseases. Climate change, too, poses a threat. Altered rainfall patterns and temperature changes can affect the availability of food and even the timing of fruiting cycles. There's also the issue of human-wildlife conflict. as human settlements expand into monkey territory. Incidents of electrocution on power lines have sadly become more common. But we mustn't lose hope. There are many dedicated individuals and organizations working tirelessly to protect howler monkeys and their habitat. Conservation efforts include establishing protected areas, reforestation projects, and wildlife corridors to connect fragmented habitats. Education programs are also crucial, helping local communities understand the importance of these animals and how to coexist with them. The relationship between howler monkeys and humans is a complex one. On one hand, these charismatic animals are a major draw for ecotourism, which can bring economic benefits to local communities and incentivize conservation. On the other, increased human presence can disturb their natural behaviors and habitat. As we look to the future, the fate of Costa Rica's howler monkeys hangs in the balance. Their survival will depend on our ability to balance human needs with the preservation of their forest homes. But I remain optimistic. With continued research, conservation efforts, and public awareness, I believe we can ensure that the powerful calls of howler monkeys will echo through the Costa Rican rainforest for generations to come. As we conclude our journey into the world of Costa Rica's howler monkeys, I hope you've come to appreciate these remarkable creatures as much as I do. Their haunting calls are more than just noise. They're a reminder of the wild, untamed beauty that still exists in our world. Let their voices be a call to action, inspiring us all to protect the precious biodiversity of our planet. For in saving them, we may just save a part of ourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe.